Okay. See someone asking about how to join the Q&A. Should be
So we're
live in a
live?
second. Are. Hi,
Great.
everyone.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, how's everyone doing? Ooh, I see. Wow, 21. Great. Where's everyone writing in from? Just out of curiosity. You drop where you're writing in from in the comments. Hi, Jonathan. Okay, wow.
Where are you
Great.
seeing all
Looks
these
like
people?
we're.
How do I do this?
Okay, so Adam, you can actually. Oh, wow. Seattle, Brooklyn.
Oh, I
I'm
love
in New
it.
York too, actually. This is great. Chicago, DC, yes. Wow, Alabama, Paris. Hi, Virginie. Happy birthday. It's actually Virginie's birthday today, so it's great that we're tuning in today. Wow, so many responses. So happy to hear from all of you guys. Great. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone. My name is Sara. I'm your customer success manager here at Astor House. Today, I'm here with a very special guest, our very own Adam Leeb, also known as the mastermind behind The Traveler and the Freewrite. So today, we're going to start with a short introduction from Adam, and then we're going to move on to all the wonderful questions that you all submitted. Shout out to everyone who submitted questions. And, if we don't cover everything, or if you think of a question while we're talking, no worries, because there's going to be time at the end for additional questions live from you all. So I would really appreciate it if everybody can hold their questions until the end so that we can get through everything we have planned. So with that, let's get started. Adam, the floor is yours.
Wow. This is awesome. This is the first time we've ever done this. So this is
Yeah.
quite an experiment on many levels. Thanks, Sarah, for setting this up. First of all, thanks for everyone that's joining. This is super cool. I love seeing people in real time, even though you guys can only see us, I guess. But I love seeing that people are coming from all different places. And I'm actually here in the Detroit, Michigan area. Sarah, where are you?
Right now, I'm actually in Dobbs Fair, New York. So I'm up in one of the river towns. Go New York.
Yeah, so we're all still remote, as I'm sure most of you could guess. But yeah, happy to be here. So I guess the first thing is a quick introduction. Um, as you know, I guess my name's Adam. I started the company with my co-founder Patrick Paul back in 2014. I was actually just working on rewriting some of the copy on our astrohouse.com website, which has been woefully unupdated for a long time. Don't go there. And so this is top of mind, actually. And we started this company around the success of the original Freewrite, and it's been such a crazy, wild ride. That product, which was first a Kickstarter campaign that started December 10th, 2014, one of the few dates that I actually remember, and it was it was something that we never thought. We didn't really think much about it. We just put together a prototype. We put it online and wanted to see if people really cared about a distraction free writing tool. And let's just say it was very provocative. We had a lot of people come to us very early on and pledge their support. And again, that was back in 2014 for our original crowdfunding campaign. It's probably funny that a lot of people here don't even know that we had a crowdfunding campaign all the way back then, but that's really what got us started. And so we've been doing this crowdfunding thing for a while now. um, I learned many of the hard lessons already, but the great thing is that we have a brand new product that was a very long journey, as I'm sure many of you know, to finally get finished and shipping. Um, but I'm super excited. I'm so proud of the product and what our team has put together. Not just the Astra House team, but all of our partners. We work with folks all around the world, from engineering teams in Europe to our factory team in China. Um, Actually, two different engineering teams in Europe and our factory team in China, and then also our team, which has become sort of distributed as well. So we're used to working with people all around the world, and it's very much a team effort to put any kind of product like this together. Um, it's it's an everyday journey. So, yeah, I mean that's the start. I think we're going to try and get to some questions. That's the point of this, I think, right? So
Yes.
we're going to get to some questions, and yeah, and then we'll open it up, I think, at the end. So I'll let
Yeah.
Sarah do all the navigating here. So I'll just be quiet for a second.
Great. Okay, so obviously everyone has been wondering, and I know everyone would love to hear it from you. So when will the travelers begin shipping, and what will be included in the traveler package?
So the first 1,000 travelers are shipping today.
Woo!
Woo! Yes, thanks to our ops team. We have 1,000 units that have been uh, assembled, prepared, labeled, and are scheduled to get picked up by UPS today. So, assuming that UPS shows up and they actually come with the right truck, because 1,000 units is about 5 pallets, five like 6 foot tall stacked pallets of travelers. Um, they're going to get picked up today, and some of them will, if you're in sort of the close area, zone two, in UPS talk, you might even get them tomorrow, which is really exciting. Um, we have many more thousands still on the way. And so those are going to be going out pretty much as soon as we get them over the next 2 or 3 weeks. Um, you know, humbly request patience from all those that don't get the first 1,000. But again, like we have many thousands more going out. As I've sort of told all of my team, like uh, the folks that are new to sort of this business, like the first one is by far the hardest. You have to have everything, even if you have 99 out of 100 parts, you can't make one. So once you make the first one, that's the huge step. Making 1,000 or making 10 is sort of a next big step. Making 100 and then 1,000, those are huge steps. So now that we've made more than 1,000, but we're waiting on the other several thousand to get here from China. We're paying for air shipping. We're not waiting for for ocean. So we're doing everything that we can to get them to folks as quickly as possible. Um, yeah, I mean that's the story. So we have the first 1,000 going out today, and then several more thousand for all the other pre-orders that are coming in over the next 2 to 3 weeks, like I said. Um, and your other question is what's coming with the travelers? Is that
Yes. What's in the package?
So inside of the package, we have obviously the Traveler itself. We have a brand new USB cable, and I say brand new, meaning brand new to us, because we've always included a USB cable with a Freewrite, but this one's a little bit new and improved USB cable. It's branded, but nicely, and um, and then otherwise, it has a welcome package. Inside the welcome package is some really awesome stickers that are brand new to us that nobody's seen before. Um, we have a much new and improved getting started guide, and that goes through all the like how do you get started, how to turn it on, how to do some of the basic stuff, plus all the keyboard shortcuts. Um, and what else? We have a little letter, I think, from us, and that's really it. So it's pretty simple.
Great. Yeah, no, we're really excited to get these orders out to everyone soon. It's been a long time coming, and we appreciate everyone who supported this. So, Adam, next question. I know a lot of folks have been writing in, obviously the Freewrite was a huge success. So I think a lot of folks are wondering, what are the key similarities and differences between the Traveler and Freewrite? What are kind of the individual perks of each? And, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. So the Freewrite has gone through quite a lot of development, and we're super, it's, I'd call it like a relatively stable platform at this point. Um, Freewrite itself is composed of more than just the device, but also the software that's running on the device, and also sort of the experience and how it interacts with Postbox. So what's different about Freewrite and Traveler, the primary things are, I mean, the most obvious things are the size and the form factor. Freeride is about 4 pounds, which is still not. I mean, I call it like semi-portable, so it's portable if you're intentional about it. But Freeride is about 4 pounds, and Traveler is about 1.6. So there's a massive difference between the portability. At 1.6 pounds, you're talking about something that you can take with you all the time and not really think about it. And that was our big one of the big requirements for us was to get something that was less than 2 pounds. And I have to say, I was super thrilled that when it finally weighed in around 1.6 pounds, it was huge, or tiny, I guess. But that level of portability again really lends itself to being that much more available to you when you want to write anytime. So that's the biggest difference is that it's smaller, it's lighter, it's very thin. The other thing that I really tried very hard to do was to get the overall thickness less than an inch, which it is. So even at the thickest part of Traveler, it's less than an inch, and then at the thinner part, it's it's much thinner. Sarah, you might want to mute your mic while you're typing because
Oh, so sorry.
I can hear it in the background. Um, so yeah, so Traveler is much smaller, much thinner, and again, like I mean, everyone will see very soon. We're still keeping the final design under wraps, but even you know you can see it on the prototype images, but it's all very sleek and small and thin, and so we wanted to maximize the portability of Traveler as much as possible. You know, one of the I don't know compromise I guess that we had to make was we obviously had to change the keyboard. A full size mechanical keyboard wasn't going to fit into something that was super thin and folding. And so when we wanted to rethink how we were going to get a great keyboard into the Traveler, we started designing our own scissor switch keyboard. And so, you know, that's another sort of difference between the full size Freewrite and the new Traveler. So the original Freewrite has a Cherry MX Browns key switches, mechanical keyboard, and the new Traveler has a custom scissor switch keyboard, which I'm super proud of. I think, I've been a ThinkPad user, which I think is the ThinkPads have been the gold standard in scissor switch keyboards for probably forever. And I think this one is just as good, if not better, maybe. But it's very good. It has very high travel on the keys, great tactile feedback. And so that's another difference. A couple other things. There's a front light on the Freeride, and there isn't one on the Traveler. I know some people have sort of been asking about that. I mean, we made that clear in the original campaign, but that is definitely a difference. We found that there's a few different reasons that we dropped the light. One is we wanted to make it more affordable. There was some significant technical complications with including the Traveler and the way that the screen stack up worked on the device, and also we sort of found I found after using the Freeride quite a lot, like it's not that often that you really need the light. And there's sort of also many ways to sort of add light to your scene if you really needed it. And so it just didn't really make a lot of sense for the Traveler. Um, and then lastly, we added some software features. So the big one being the hotkey enabled arrow keys. So we obviously heard this was the original Kickstarter for the original Freeride. We had some moments where I thought that there was going to be a legit mutiny where people were going to come outside my house and like picket for arrow keys. But we held fast and said, the concept for Freeride is to be a distraction free writing tool, and it fits within this very specific um, flow where it's separate drafting and editing. And so to do that, we really wanted to just really keep the writer moving forward at all costs. And that was really the core value proposition of the original Freeride. With
Mm-hmm.
Traveler, I think after hearing years of feedback and also just, I think what really got me was that that's a really specific writing style. And while we have a tool that is perfect for that style, I think there was a lot of writers that rightly were writers and they wanted something that was distraction free, but they have a different style. And I think that that's fine. And so we wanted to, you know, basically provide a tool for those people as well. And I think Traveler was sort of like the perfect platform to sort of reintroduce those features. And so there's the arrow keys, and we also included we built a whole new what we call a document manager. So this is a way that you can archive, shred, and move documents all on the device itself, so you don't have to be connected to the network or go through Postbox, which I think is a great benefit. And again, like being such an ultra portable tool, we wanted to be able to like give a little bit more self administration to the users, to everyone.
Yeah, great. I mean, you actually covered my next question, which was the traveler's new features, and I know we've kind of been giving out hints regarding that, but we're really excited for the moving cursor function and the document manager and all the new possibility that that brings. So another question that was asked by a lot of our backers was, obviously a lot of our backers are actually Freewrite owners. So we were wondering, how would the Freewrite and the Traveler work together, and whether it'd be possible to kind of import text from the Freewrite into the Traveler.
Yeah, it's definitely something we've been thinking about and working on. Um, the first the first priority for us when developing sort of the traveler experience was like making sure that it worked, period. And so that definitely took up the majority of our time. We've been now focusing a lot more on sort of the interaction. Um, they do they do both work. So what we're now working on is a way that you can send documents down to Traveler.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not going to with Freewrite. It's a one-way sync. So anything that you write on Freewrite will sync to Postbox, and then it'll also sync to any of the services that you're linking to it, whether that's Drive or Evernote or Google or Dropbox. With Traveler, it's working the same way, except we want to be able to send we want to give people a way to send documents down to Traveler. So that's actually what we're working on now. It's not going to be done tomorrow, but this is something that we're expecting to launch probably in the next few weeks. So not too long of a wait. It's literally at the top of our feature list, and something that we're working on implementing now. And again, that's going to be is a way to send documents from Postbox, whether they were written on a Freewrite or a Traveler or even in Sprinter. You can send it from Postbox to your Traveler device.
Great. Yeah, no, that definitely would be a huge plus with the Postbox integration. And kind of speaking about updates. So I had a few questions regarding kind of the update procedure for the Traveler as well. So what would that look like? Would it be the same as Freewrite? Have we made any changes? Can you speak a bit about firmware updates?
Yeah, definitely. So we've always had a firmware update process with Freewrite, and we've built on that effectively with Traveler. So we still have a firmware update um, method so that you can once we make a firmware update available, you can download it over the air using the built-in Wi-Fi, and then allow the device to update. And so that's something that we have on Traveler. We are trying to improve it a little bit because originally the way that it works on Freeride, it's like a little too slick in that it's hard for us to support people. It's sort of everything sort of happens in the background, and we thought we were really really clever. But when the times that it didn't, the few times that it didn't work, it was like almost impossible for anyone to support. So we still have that system, and but we're also adding a way to sort of like manually check for an update. And for most of the people that um, all the whole 1,000 people that are getting travelers now, we actually already have an update available for them, and I would highly encourage everyone to go through that update process. And we're going to be sending out an email and doing a lot of education about how to do that.
Right.
Um, but yeah, so we like I said, we've always had a firmware update process. That's what allows us to sort of continually improve the device. And we were going to continually improve the software and hopefully fix bugs. I mean, look, like this is still like a brand new product, and hopefully everyone that's listening realizes, like, even though we've had years of experience and we have something similar, like there will be bugs. I just think of like that movie, like, anyway, so there will be bugs, and we will do our best to fix them. We have our priorities in terms of you know the most important thing is like making sure that people don't ever lose documents, and that's always something that we repeat within our software team all the time. It's like documents need to be forever, basically. And so we have there's always little things. So yeah, I mean, in terms of the firmware update system, it's going to be hopefully relatively streamlined. I don't know. Should I talk about how you actually do the firmware update?
Yeah, you can briefly mention it. I think some people are curious.
So the way that it's meant to work is that when a firmware update is available, the device is checking sort of every, I think every 4 or 5 minutes in the background. So it'll ping our server and say like, "Hey, here I am. Like, is there an update available for me?" And every 4 or 5 minutes, it does that. And then once it does do that, and it detects that there is a firmware update, the next time that it goes to sleep, it's actually going to start downloading in the background. And the reason that we did that is downloading and those kinds of things can really affect sort of like the performance of the device. So we didn't want people to be like typing and working, and then all of a sudden it starts downloading an update in the background, and then and then their typing gets super slow, and it's like, why? I didn't do anything. Like, why is this happening? And so we wanted it to be like when the device was asleep. And so it only takes a few minutes, generally speaking. Um, but once you do that download, it's going to happen in the background, and then the screen is going to change and say that there's a firmware update available. And once that screen shows, it'll say, hold the power button for 5 seconds. And this is the same exact process for Freewrite and Traveler. And when you hold the button for 5 seconds, you need to make sure that there's a charging cable attached, and then it'll do the firmware update process. And that's really it.
Yeah, no, that's great to hear. And, like what you said earlier, our mantras kind of always have a backup for the text, right? Like make sure nobody loses their work. So actually, transitioning off of that, a lot of people were wondering, how can I export documents from the Traveler? What are, our backup methods? And, can you also talk a bit about printing as well? I know some of our audiences are curious.
Yeah, so the device is saving documents all the time. And again, like there's no active way to save a document because it's doing it all the time in the background. And so again, like that was a super important part of the Freewrite experience. Like we wanted to have that sort of that surety to all the people that are using the product. Um, so what's happening is it's saving to the onboard flash storage, and then if it's connected to the network, about every 30 seconds or so, it's going to be uploading the document to Postbox. And so not only do you have like that local document, but you also have the document is going to be uploaded to Postbox. Once it's in Postbox, it also then will get shuttled to any of the three um, cloud services that you're connected to. So, and this is part of the onboarding process. The first time that you get your device, it's going to take you to Postbox. Or actually, you're going to get an email that says like set up your Postbox account. I'll go into what that does, but basically, it gives you an option to set up your account and do the authorization so that we can send your documents to one of Dropbox, Google Drive, or Evernote. And so, or none of them. You don't have to do any of them. But if you do have one of them, let's say Dropbox, anytime that you're writing, the documents are going to be uploaded to Postbox, assuming you're connected to the network. And then once you're connected to the network, um, they'll be they're also connected to the documents will just be uploaded to Dropbox. So if you have Dropbox on your desktop, you can just see the document in real time effectively. And so that's sort of like the standard way that documents are being saved and synchronized. There's also some other alternatives. So we have a send button on the keyboard, and that send button on the keyboard will send you or whoever the logged in user is an email with a PDF and a text version of the current document that you're working on. So the idea is like it's just a super simple way to get that document to your inbox.
Mm-hmm.
You can also, within Postbox, once the document is in Postbox, there's a way to individually send documents to one of your connected third-party cloud accounts, so Dropbox, Evernote, or Google Drive, or you can directly download it to a PDF or text, I believe.
Yes. Yeah. So technically, there's three different ways your document can be backed up, right, from your local device to Postbox to then another third party service. So that's really
There's
kind of our
more.
way.
Yeah, there's another one which I forgot, which is the documents are also being saved on the device, so you can also
Mm-hmm.
plug your device into a computer. So, and that way, when you plug your device into a computer, it turns it into a mass storage device. So it basically turns into an external hard drive, and you can then use your computer to navigate to that external hard drive and download the documents from there. It's sort of it's a temporary hard drive though, so this is a little confusing for people. It's only a temporary hard drive, meaning like what you do to those files actually doesn't go back to the device, and that's sort of like a security thing. But it's a way that you can download your documents in a pinch off of without having any internet connection.
Yeah, no, that's great. And a great transition to our next question, actually. So, obviously, we designed the Freewrite and the Traveler to be able to be used offline. And, the Traveler, especially, I imagine a lot of our backers are looking forward to taking it on the go. So, can you please talk about how, the Traveler can be used offline? What that would look like?
Yeah, I mean, it's I sort of already described it. I mean, some people think because we call it like cloud connected that it needs to be connected to a network, and that's definitely not true. It's designed from the ground up to be worked on, in a cabin somewhere off the grid. I mean, that is
Right.
definitely part of how it's supposed to work. So everything is always saved to its internal hard drive. Um, and so you don't ever have to worry about whether it's connected to the network or not. The network connection is just a backup sync effectively, and also just a really easy way to sort of pivot from that drafting session to your editing and publishing session. So that was part of the original value proposition of the device is like we want people to be able to do all their drafting on the product, but then also very easily do their editing and all that other stuff that's really great on the computer to do that like separately. And
Right.
so that's really why we enabled the cloud sync. Not, part of it is the security of having like backups, and also being able to access your documents anywhere, but then also so you can swivel between these two processes. And so by being designed from the ground up, um, that also means that like we have this mass storage capability so that you can plug it into any computer, whether it's um, any computer, and it'll show up as an external hard drive, and then you'll be able to access any of your documents directly through that.
Great. Yeah. So to those of you who asked, the Traveler can absolutely be used offline. We have what, like a million plus pages of local storage.
Yeah.
So, more than enough for all of your writing needs. Um, and okay, so transitioning to our other question, a couple people, and this is a great question actually, Adam, because I don't even know the complete answer to this, but what's the best way to keep your Traveler clean? I know some people have mentioned the super sleek cover, the white keyboards. Kind of, what's the best way to clean the Traveler?
Yeah, I think um, I use like one of those like microfiber towels that you'd clean like a pair of glasses with. So I would suggest using one of those. And if you really want to, you can put some, like they have electronics cleaner, which is like some probably Windex basically repackaged. And so that's actually always great. I mean, Traveler definitely has a very reflective coating and is definitely a fingerprint magnet. I'll be the first one to say it. I mean, it's a beautiful product. That's sort of the price you pay, I guess. But it's a beautiful product, and yeah, it'll collect some fingerprints, but you can just wipe them off. And the entire body is polycarbonate, which is awesome. It's super lightweight and it's super rigid as well, and so that gives you sort of like that experience. I mean, of having like it just feels good, and I think I'm really happy with how it turned out, and I think hopefully everyone will really enjoy pick up the product and hopefully see all the work that we put into it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. The fingerprint is definitely a thing, but just looking at it, it's such a sleek device and it's so beautifully built, and we can't wait for y'all to get your hands on it. So one final question before we transition into questions, and this is kind of looking forward. This is actually a really insightful question from one of our backers. Adam, what's next for Astor House after the Traveler?
Well, um, I mean, the rest of this year is going to be focused on it's going to be focused on really just supporting the customer experience. I mean, we like I said, this is still a new product for us. I'm sure nobody would have loved if we took another 2 months to just do testing. I mean, we definitely did testing, but you can never do enough testing. And so you also find out new things every time that there's going from one person using it to 10 people to 100 people to 1,000. And so when we once we send this product out, like I said, we have the ability to do over there updates, and the expectation is that we are going to, collect all the bugs, start working on them, and then hopefully, release some updates, before the end of the year that really even then improves the experience. And so I think for the rest of the year, I mean, that's what we're going to be focused on, releasing the send to traveler document feature, fixing any bugs that we find, and then after that, I mean, I love making products, and we definitely have some things on the agenda. I'm not going to talk about them because I don't want to get people, emailing us like, "Hey, where's this thing? Where's that?" But we always want to, continue working with our customers, like improving our ecosystem. Now that we have two products, I mean, it's a whole new thing for us. Thinking about
Right.
how those products interact, how can we improve the experiences, how can we, you know, yeah, do more for our customers.
Yeah, yeah. I see Milton in the comment section, the Freewrite car. Hopefully, we'll
We
see.
we are in the Motor City. I mean,
Right.
maybe. No.
No, no, that's great, Adam. And obviously, we're super excited to be focused on the traveler for now, and kind of make sure that you all have a great experience with this product. So, you know, is there anything else you would like to touch on, Adam, before we transition into questions?
Um, I think it's been. I would just like to say, I think a lot of people are very anxious, and I understand that. I think like it. Hopefully, seeing us here like is a reminder that there are people behind the screen, especially you, Sarah, who is sort of gets the brunt of both, positive and negative. And I feel very protective in that I don't want, my team to be, you know, berated in any way. So I think like, I hope that everyone just, appreciates, what we um are trying to do for everyone. And I think like, we very much want to bring out the best product. I mean, it's in both of our best interests, and I think also like kindness goes a long way, and we're always going to be the people that want people to have the best experience. And if you want us to do something for you, like we're more than happy to do it. Um, Being nice like always makes it a lot easier. So I think like I said, we are super excited to bring this product to you. Like there was no, I mean, part of this is like we do know what we're doing, and yes, it took longer than we'd like, but there was never a question in my mind of whether we were going to be able to deliver this product or not. And I think it's hard to it's very hard to sort of communicate that to the public. Um, there's a lot of people that just think we don't know what we're talking about or whatever, and that's fine. Hopefully once the product is in people's hands, they'll realize that it's real and that it's a great thing, and hopefully they can just get back to writing. But yeah, I'm excited. I can't even believe how many comments there are actually, and I'm watching them. I'm trying not to watch them, but I am watching them. Scroll through here. So yeah, we can open it up, and I don't know how you want to do this, but I can. I don't know. You can pick some, or I'll pick some, or both.
Yeah, why don't you just, go ahead and answer live, questions from the audience, and I'll kind of take a step back for now. So I know you guys have been dropping questions throughout this session, but right now we're going to open the floor to official questions. So everyone who has a question of anything we didn't touch on, any questions, go ahead and drop that in the chat, and we'll do our best to get to as many as we can.
Yeah, I'll start with a few. I'll go easy ones. Does Traveler have USB-C? Yes, it does. And so the original Freewrite also has USB-C. We were probably one of the first consumer products that had USB Type-C, which was maybe a positive, I don't know. But we thought we were very clever by putting USB-C in the first Freewrite. One thing that we couldn't do at the time was take advantage of the high powered, like sort of before. I won't go into like all the details of the USB specs because they're wildly complicated and confusing, but USB Type C is a connector, and there's multiple protocols that can go over that dumb little connector. And so our FreeWrite only works with a USB 2.0 charger, which is anything that uses like the typical like long rectangular connector, which is why that we include that cable in the package. With the Traveler, we A lot of things have changed in the last few years, and so we were able to do a bit smarter USB communication. And so the Traveler can be charged by any USB Type C charger and USB Type A charger, which is great. And also, it also can be used as a host. So this is something that we haven't really actually talked about. It's kind of a cool feature, but you can plug in an external keyboard into Traveler and use it. And I think the thing that's really cool about that is you can, and this actually came up during a podcast interview when someone was asking me about ergonomics, but you can actually basically prop up the Traveler and use an external keyboard. And while I couldn't originally think of why you'd ever want to do that, but it makes a lot of sense from an ergonomic point of view. I mean, being limited to sort of a laptop form factor, there's only so much you can do. But by the ability of plugging in an external keyboard, if you really want to, you can plug in your mechanical external keyboard if you want to carry it around, and then prop it up and use one of the many laptop stands, and you can have a great Traveler experience, distraction free, ergonomic, and whichever
Yeah.
keyboard you want to use. So that's kind of a new thing with the USB. But again, both of them, both Freeride and Traveler, USB Type C, but the implementation's a little bit different on the inside. All right, what's next?
Many, many questions for you.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people are asking about like who's in the first 1,000, and nobody's gonna like this answer, but I can't tell you. Obviously, like our operations team knows, it has a lot more to do with like who. It's more in the order of like people that confirm their addresses, the like SKU assortment, and uh, it's more of like an ops sort of like management than it is like we couldn't, there's no way that we could have basically taken like, oh, this is the first backer, they get delivered first, and that's just not how it works. We definitely made an effort to try and make like all the Indiegogo people to be like our first priority for sure. So if you're an Indiegogo backer, you're definitely like highest priority.
Yeah.
And then everyone is sort of in line after that. I guess the point I'll say though is that our first purchase order with our factory is enough for all of our back orders. And so all of those units are like, I think it's safe to say pretty much all of the units that have been ordered up to today have been manufactured. So really it's a question of just logistics at this point. And so we're bringing, like I said before at the beginning of this conversation, we're bringing all of those units. Some of those units have arrived in our warehouse here in Michigan. Some of them are on the way. Some of them are being packaged and moved from China to Hong Kong. So there's like a bunch of steps in the logistics chain. And so the biggest thing is like all of the units that have been ordered today and then some have been assembled, and the rest of it is supply chain. So that's why we're saying 2 to 3 weeks, or else we wouldn't even be able to make any kind of prediction. And hopefully, like I always tell my team, like anything can happen, and I'll say it again here, like containers fall off ships, and planes go down, and all these kinds of crazy things, and trucks get in
Pandemics
accidents.
happen.
Pandemics happen. I mean, people thought it wouldn't, but every things happen. So I'm never the kind of person that says like with any kind of certainty anything until like the money's in the bank, or you have the thing in your hand. But that's definitely what our plan is, and how we're going about sort of like shipping everything. So you'll also be getting a tracking number through email. There was definitely some confusion because we obviously were printing labels, I mean, and doing all this operational stuff, and people were getting tracking numbers. And I'm like, where, our team is like, where are these people getting tracking numbers? Because they shouldn't have. Of course, UPS actually sent out the tracking numbers, not us. And there was no way that we could actually manage that, apparently. So that definitely caused some confusion. But until you get a tracking number from us, it's not a real tracking number, just so you know. Most likely it probably is the same one that UPS will have sent you, but if we need to reprint a label or something like that, it's not, we're not going to take any credit for that. I mean, these things happen. So that's what we're working on, from an operational perspective.
Yeah, definitely. So Sue, your Traveler is on its way, but it hasn't quite been shipped yet.
Sue Walsh, we see you and hear you times a million. Times a million. Okay. What should we talk about here? Splash resistant keyboard. It's not splash. Well, maybe splash resistant, but it's definitely not water resistant in any way. I would highly suggest not to spill anything on the keyboard.
As with
Like,
any electronic device.
yeah, with any electronic device. I mean, we are Gen 1 of this product for our team. Having a water resistance was just not going to happen. I mean, as much as I would have loved it too. Um, yeah, so just don't spill anything on the keyboard. Um, will there be a software update to change the Freewrite to add arrow keys? No plans. No plans. A lot of people have asked that. Again, I think the first thing is it's a new feature and I want to see how, people experience it on the Traveler. I mean, we've been playing with it for a little while on our demo units, pre-production units. Um, and it's definitely, I mean, it's useful, but is it necessary? I don't know. There's something special. I mean, for a lot of people here that have never used a Freewrite, there's really something special about it and how serious it is about keeping the writer moving forward. And it's hard to explain. I mean, there's something that it's just like you have this like mental friction at the start of using at the beginning of any session, and once you start using it, your mind sort of like makes this jump into like, oh, I'm just going to keep writing mode, and it really works. And so that was part of the reason that I always wanted to, like, I didn't want to change the Freewrite. It really does work. And so yeah, it might help a few people, but like it actually works for everyone. So I don't know, it's tough, but I'm excited that, I mean, we have, once Traveler's out, that's going to be a product that's going to have those arrow keys. And yeah.
Absolutely. So you'll have options.
Yeah. We do have I don't know if I should talk about it. There is a known bug already with the arrow keys and language layouts that we need to fix. But yeah, I'm sure a lot of people will write in about that.
Yeah. So we're working on it.
We're
So you
working on it.
know.
Yeah, there's things. Will it run Dvorak? Yes, it does. Dvorak is one of our supported layouts.
And Adam, just so you know, we have time for maybe like 2 or 3 more questions.
Oh man, they
If
better
you're
be good
quick,
ones.
if you're quick.
We should have. There should be a way to like upvote questions or something. Hydrophobic spray coating is easy. Easy for who? It's a lot more than hydrophobic spray coating. The water has to go somewhere. So you have to have routes for the liquid to be expelled. You have to make sure it doesn't go into any sensitive electronics. There's a lot of things. Can the Traveler read write to a thumb drive? No, it cannot. So it is only to the internal storage. Any way to attach a larger screen via charging port? Not at this time. If you buy today, roughly what is the ETA for delivery? So if you buy today, again, it's the same for everyone because, like I said, all the units are on their way. And in our initial purchase order, we included hundreds more that are going to be available for regular sale. So you'll be at the end of the 2 to 3 weeks, but it'll be 2 to 3 weeks. Our best case scenario was that we would have all of them out tomorrow, but of course, things and production and logistics. I mean, for example, like we have a whole number of units that are going to Europe, our European distribution center, and we were scheduling, air freight from last week, and the earliest flight we could get out at any reasonable price was this Friday, which is a whole week, which is unheard of in air freight logistics. And so, I mean, these are the types of challenges that we're dealing with. I mean, prices on air freight are not as bad as they were in April, where they were maybe $25 a kilogram, which is absolutely insane. But they are still extremely high. And, that's because of COVID and all these things. And UPS likes to charge a lot more money because, there's a lot more demand. And so, these are the things that we're dealing with on our back end. But that's just life. So
Yeah, and I see, Okan has been writing in about language keyboard question. So Can you speak briefly about, languages before we wrap up? So the question is, wondering if I have to specify the different language prior to ordering, or, what does it come with?
Yeah, I mean, the keyboard is actually another thing we should potentially talk about. Um, with Freewrite, we have two physical keyboard layouts. We have the ANSI layout and the ISO layout. Those are both based on the standards or the standards in those two areas. A being the American National Standards Institute, I think,
Yeah.
and then ISO being International Standards Organization. So, even though they're standards, they're not all the same across all keyboards. But there are some general differences. And when we built Freewrite, we actually made two different SKUs, one with a ANSI keyboard and one with an ISO keyboard to support sort of all of the international customers that we have. With Traveler, we wanted to simplify it a little bit, and we also realized that it's like not that important, sort of in the way like the subtle design changes that we um, would lose from combining them just didn't it just didn't make sense. So we ended up combining the keyboard, which means that it's basically an ANSI keyboard with an Alt GR key, and
Mhm.
that's what's on the Traveler, which means that everybody can basically access all of the keyboard layouts. So it's sort of a win-win. It makes our inventory management and production much simpler. It also makes everybody, all of the units are, you could sell it to anyone. You can use them in any keyboard layout. Um, but yeah, we have I think 30 plus keyboard layouts that are available over software. And so one of the things is like, yeah, we're not big enough to have individual keyboards for every software layout, meaning like we can't print like a Quartz or a German keyboard layout on the actual keyboard itself, but we can support it through software. And for people that are typing in a German keyboard, a lot of time, well, first of all, a lot of people, especially if people are buying our product, are going to be switching between keyboards. And so sort of our compromise is that we have to do we do an English layout, but then you can change the layout with the keyboard into any of the other 30 plus layouts that we offer. We also have an international English layout that can type in lots of different languages. Any of the languages that use Latin characters, and all of the diacritics, with umlauts and accents and all that kind of stuff, are available on the international English keyboard, just like they are on the like if you use a Mac or PC.
Mhm.
So we're definitely opening up some sort of like hopefully simpler keyboard layout management. I mean, the yeah. So hopefully that answers a little bit. I mean, we have one single physical keyboard layout for Traveler that will help everybody use any of the keyboard layouts that we have. There's definitely going to be we need to work on some of our documentation to help people understand this, because I don't even understand it completely. Like the interaction it's very, very confusing the way that the keyboard layouts work just in general. Um, but yeah, so that's something that will definitely help everyone. And I'm seeing like Mark is commenting about key stickers. We could
Mhm.
sell key stickers. I mean, they're so available and most people can buy them on Amazon that just we just haven't done it. But yeah, you can put stickers that match your preferred keyboard layout on your keys.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Adam. So, we're actually over time. Thank you
Oh,
guys so
let's keep
much
going. Come
for
on.
your enthusiasm. I
Yeah.
know. So that's all the time we have for questions. But, if we didn't get to your question, or if you think of any other questions after the session, please write into hello@astrohouse.com. I'm there 5 days a week for the sole purpose of answering your questions and helping out any way I can. So don't hesitate to reach out. And, again, we just want to say thank you guys so much for sticking with us, especially our Indiegogo backers. We know it hasn't been an easy ride coming along, but we're so excited to finally begin shipping Travelers. And we really couldn't have done it without you. So, again, keep an eye out for shipping notifications with tracking from us soon. We'll be sending those out. And we'll also be releasing all the reviews, photos, videos of the new Traveler design tomorrow for all of you guys who are eager to get a first glance. So we can't wait for you to experience the Traveler. Please keep in touch. Let us know what you think. Let us know about your cool new projects. And, we love to hear from you. Anything else you wanna touch on before we close, Adam?
Yeah. I can't even scroll through these comments because so many are being added at any one time that I keep like switching my scroll. Is this what Twitch streamers feel like? This is insane.
It must be.
This is amazing. No, thanks everyone for joining us. Thanks everyone for, pre-ordering the Traveler. The idea that you can even do this kind of thing is amazing. I mean, I've just been like so thankful to even just the industry of crowdfunding and what they've been able to do for us. I mean, we wouldn't be able to make these kinds of products without crowdfunding and without people like you. And so, as much as you may think that we're not listening, we always are. And we always appreciate your ability to like, reach out and, fund projects like this. I mean, there's literally no other way. I mean, these are products that couldn't be funded through venture capital typically. And, we have been able to grow from, a super, super niche company to just a regular niche company. And, and also be able to bring really cool products that, like I said, I'm super proud of. And I think, hopefully you guys are really going to enjoy it. And I think, today's the day before our launch, tomorrow, October 27th at 9 a.m. Eastern time. What that really means is that it's basically a press launch. So, for some of the people, I may as well address this. I mean, some people thought like we sent out all these devices to influencers, and that definitely did not happen. I sent out a handful of devices to trusted press that I've worked with over the last 5 years. They are loaner units, they don't get to keep them. And all those people are going to be hopefully publishing tomorrow to support our launch. And what that really means is that everyone gets a better experience, and it also corresponds with when we were going to be shipping anyway. So all that, yes, a handful of people were able to try them out ahead of time, but those people are part of a press, and they're also sending those units back as part of the deal.
Yeah.
So that's all there is to it. It's not that crazy or complicated.
You guys are our priority.
Yeah. And that was a handful of units that we had available to us, basically pre-production units, or the original, first 10 of the production.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, like thank you to everyone. I also think, we've been pretty quiet about the final design, but no, I don't think anyone's going to be shocked in terms of like, I mean, it looks similar to the product. To most people, they'll probably say it looks the same, but to me, it looks different in terms of just how much more sleek and refined it is. But again, we are going to, I mean, I think this has been super successful, which is awesome. I loved seeing all these people here, and I think we'll do another one of these when we can actually like show the product and go through
Absolutely.
it and do all those, walk through the features and show the new things, and, stay tuned to that.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for coming. We appreciate you. We love hearing from you, and see you guys next time.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.